Shalom. We'll get started in just a few moments. All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory into my power. YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is YAHAWAH. In his son's name, who the word in the call Jesus Christ, real name in the Hebrew is YAHAWASHI. Also give praises, honor, and glory into the HaRuach, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes edification possible. I want to say shalom to all you sincere-hearted ARCHAEOLOGY. That's you brothers and few sincere sisters make your bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors unto my beloved apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and who rule well. And I'm the brother YAHAWAH here from the Great Millstone Dallas camp. All right, coming back this morning through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI to do another lesson. And Lord's will, this lesson will be edifying and informative unto the elect of the nation of Israel, and glorifying unto the names of my power, YAHAWAH. And as you can read the title, it says, the squeeze is here to stay. Buckle up. All right, the squeeze is here to stay. Buckle up. And in this lesson, I'm just going to grab a few articles, maybe one or two, concerning some current events, mainly, current events due to, these major halts upon these imports coming from China, and how that's very soon, going to affect all of us. I mean, a lot of people are already being affected. A lot of these companies, smaller companies and even bigger companies. I remember I was watching this video this past week, and it was in the video it was talking about how Home Depot, Target, and I believe Walmart as well, how they're pretty much sounding the alarm, like saying, hey, like, it's about to be empty shelves very soon, so buckle up. Buckle up, man. And ultimately we're in those times to where, let me grab this, let's open up with this here in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. Let's start at verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. All right, when you get this word vision in the Hebrew, it's chazan, which means a divine oracle or prophecy. You see, so these prophecies, they've been appointed for a certain time. Okay, and we're in the times to where every effect of the vision, as we open up with last night at the Thursday Night Live, we open up in the book of Ezekiel, the 12th chapter, and it speaks about how every effect of the vision shall come to pass. See, so the Lord already had the vision laid out before the foundation of the world was even created. All right, Isaiah 46 and 10. All right, he's declared the end from the beginning. All right, but now we're about to see the effects of all these visions. We're about to see the effects of these prophecies taking pass. We're about to see the effects of these things written in the scriptures thousands of years ago actually come to pass here in our lifetime. And it's going to, and these effects is going to bring forth a lot of mayhem, a lot of destruction. Okay, ultimately because the Lord is deconstructing this Edomite, power system. All right, the beast. All right, America, NATO, and the EU, this whole world system. He's deconstructing this place, and simultaneously, erecting the throne of David, starting in the spirit, but it's ultimately going to culminate into the physical, man, upon Yahawah's arrival. That's what we're waiting on. So this is why, this brings us great news and joy, to go into these current events. All right, measure the times diligently within itself, because we understand, man, we're just one step closer, all right, into the kingdom of heaven being set up here upon the earth. That should be the mindset of every Hebrew Israelite, that's so-called in this truth, man. You should be praying for a few days, asking Yahawah to speed the time up. Habakkuk 2 and 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And we're at the end. And the proof of that is what? Esau's in power. The great awakening is happening. All right, has happened and is still happening. Ezekiel the 37th chapter. You see, after 3.5 days, the breath of life have entered into side of, into side of Jake. All right, the Israelites, starting with the elect. All right, so we're at the end. So it says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Verse 4, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. And who is this speaking about? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man. Okay, his soul is lifted up, as he really thinks that he's about to, scarf down, all the earth's, resources, as if he doesn't have it already, but he's trying to double down. He's trying to take a regrip, all right, upon, the fatness of the earth and dew of heaven. He's trying to get it tight. You know how, like, if you, for you brothers that work out, you may be deadlifting, or you're lifting any type of heavy weight. You're bent over and you're using your legs, or we could use deadlifting for example. After, like, if you got that bar stacked up with weights, on each side, after those, 4 or 5 reps, sometimes you gotta put that bar down, kind of re-grip, get a fresh grip. Well, that's what Esau's trying to do right now, in the form of and the way he's trying to get a fresh grip is by setting up this technocracy. All right, this digital governance, man, to where he wants to control you, man, in every facet, in every way possible. See, he wants to be inside of you and to control you, man. See, so his soul is lifted up. He really thinks that he's about to achieve this, and the Lord's going to allow him to taste it for a little season, as it speaks about in Job the 20th chapter. All right, but it's going to turn into bitter gall in his stomach, into his bowels, and the Lord's going to cause him to vomit it up, because it is not his. This ain't his. Esau don't own none of this, man. Okay, the fullness of the earth is the Lord. Psalms 24 and verse 1. See? So it's time for him to pay up, man. Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just. Who's the just? The elect, those that are justified, okay, and vindicated by YAHAWASHI, through YAHAWASHI's blood. And through that blood, okay, it has paved the way for us to receive this testimony, receive this new song. All right, this is how we're going to overcome this man. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. That's right, man. And that's all we can do, because we're powerless down here in the carnal, that is. When it comes to military might, financial might, whatever. Hey, we don't have anything, man, but we're rich in faith, okay? And that faith is going to open up a floodgate of miracles and power, okay? And ultimately that standard that's spoken about and prophesied of in Isaiah the 59th chapter that's going to come for the elect. The Lord's going to lift up a standard when Esau comes in like a flood, all right? And that standard is going to definitely be needed, all right? But let me grab these articles real quick. In Lord's will, this will be short and straight to the point and informative until you elect out there. That's who we do these videos for, is for the elect, because they're the only ones that's going to pay attention anyway. All right, all you other niggas, man. All right, you niggas, y'all got the attention span of a squirrel. Okay, you're not going to listen. All right, but it's all good. So I'll start off with this one. It's loading right now. This is off of newsweek.com, and this was published, as a matter of fact, this morning, May 2nd. Boy, this year is flying by. It's May already, man. Hey, tell me that the Lord ain't making good up on his word when he says he's going to speed the time up for the elect's sake, man. Bro, it's May. I just had to take a double look at my watch. Like, I can't believe this. It's May. Rent was due yesterday. Let me grab this real quick, because the Lord said he was going to speed the time up. And the water Yahawah for that. Let's get this real quick in Romans. That's how we know we ain't got that much longer here, man. Now my phone don't want to load. Come on, man. Don't do this to me. Bear with me, Baba Kashab. My phone wants to glitch. Nothing works here. This technology is a failure. But this is okay, here we go. Romans 9. Romans chapter 9. And we're going to start right here, verse Romans 9. And let's see. That's the NLT. Here we go. This is Romans chapter 9 and verse 28. I'm going to get it in the KJV version. I was going to get in the NLT. Romans 9 and 28, just real quick. As we were speaking about how the Lord is speeding up the time, it says, verse 28, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. See? It says for the Lord, he's going to finish the work. All right, and what's that work? His judgments. You see? These particular judgments that he's pronounced to fall upon the earth here in these latter times, man. All right, was that Psalms 119 and 126? It is time for thee, O Lord, YAHAWASHI, to work, for they have made void thy law. What's that work? Okay, that work is judgment, man. Bringing many great miseries upon this place. All right, bringing to pass, all right, the vision of the MOTB, World War III, the coming of Yahawah and the holy host of angels, and redeeming his elect. All right, these things will come to pass. So it says, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. The Lord's not about to continue to drag this thing out. All right, we ain't got 1,000 years here, bro, and we're gonna keep saying that, man, because that was very foolish to say, and you discouraged. You made the hearts of the righteous sad with your lies, like Ezekiel the 13th chapter say concerning the false prophets. The Lord himself says concerning these false prophets, you made the hearts of the righteous sad. You know, you're supposed to comfort your people, man. Cry unto Jerusalem that her warfare is accomplished. Hey, man, hey, Yahweh Shema Shah is about to get us out of here. You know, even if the Lord wants to wait another 10 years, okay, what's supposed to be coming out of your lips as a prophet is a Yahweh Shema Shah is coming soon. Okay, you're supposed to comfort your people, man. You see, because at the end of the day, it is soon. All right, it is soon, man. Yahweh Shah says, behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me. He said that over 2,000 years ago. You see, he said that he can't. But here, Jake, all right, is in Babylon the Great, all right, with a fitted hat on, child support, all different types of, infirmities. And, oh, we got another 1,000 years here. You know, that's because these niggas are, bro, they got their consolation. They're comfortable, man. See, you're supposed to be sighing and crying. Sighing and crying. You're supposed to cry out unto your people, man, that our warfare is accomplished. You see? But you made the hearts of the righteous sad, man. All right, like the Lord said. Let me get that real quick. You see? And that offended a lot of sincere Israelites. That offended the elect. All right, and you got to pay for that, man. Let me see. Let me type this in. I believe it's Ezekiel 13. Righteous sad. Yeah, even the birds got to chime in on that. And they're praising Yahweh Shema Shah. I love when I do these sit downs. Got these birds chirping in the background. As we're singing this new song. Hey, those birds singing that song too, man. These birds singing the song. And I can't wait until the kingdom of heaven till all of creation praises Yahweh Shema Shah, man. Things in the earth, things under the earth, things in heaven. That's how it's supposed to be. And that's when life flourishes. That's when peace and tranquility, okay, is gonna flourish here, man. It's when everything praises Yahweh Shema Shah, and when everything is in order. There's more order within the animal kingdom than it is with Jake. You see, women out of order, they want to be men. The men, they're all effeminized. The children, they just bad as hell. You see, so the animal kingdom has more structure, okay, than the ones that's supposed to rule over the animals. So that's how you know, man. Okay, something's got to change, and it will change. Yahweh Shema Shah is about to do some work up on this place, man. All right, this place is out of order. Let's get this, since we said it, and then we're going to get these articles. Ezekiel 13 and 22. Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 22, it says, in the NLT, and this is the Lord cursing out these false prophets of Israel. He says, you have discouraged the righteous. Who's the righteous? The elect. You have discouraged the righteous with your lies, but I did not want them to be sad. You have encouraged the wicked by promising them life, even though they continue in their sins. See? So these false prophets, man, hey, they're making the righteous sad, man. Hey, another example that comes to mind as we speak right now. I was watching that compilation of videos that the elders have put together, concerning IUIC. They have particular individuals coming up to their camp, asking them the true names of the Most High, and asking them, what the MOTB is. And the first video that was compiled in that compilation, it was I believe he was an Ephraimite. Was it Ephraimite? Yeah, I believe he was an Ephraimite. The brother had came up. He was either Ephraimite or a Simeonite, but either way, he came up to the IUIC camp and was talking about the MOTB. And the brother, you could tell that the brother, he believed that the MOTB is the RFID, grain of rice, but of course with these false prophets, just over talking, and the law. No, brother, it ain't the chip. Get that out your head. Like, you could tell that kind of made that Jake feel some type of way. Like, damn. Like, he couldn't really, defend. He couldn't really defend it, because he just believes, But you could tell, I peeped that, man. When I was watching that video, you kind of tell that Jake was, like, a little discouraged, man. Like, damn, nah, I know it's a see here, but, like, damn. You see? But that's what these false prophets do, man. Okay, you make the righteous sad with your lies, bro. And you got to pay for that, man. You're offending the Lord's little ones. That's why it's so important to preach the truth, man. Our people, bro, it's already been bad enough. We've been deprived of the truth our whole life. You see? Our people have been robbed, destitute, not having accessibility to let me get that in Jeremiah the 50th chapter real quick. And we're going to get these articles. We're just kind of speaking in the spirit real quick. But this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 6. It says, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place, going from idol to idol, God to God. And they forgot their resting place. But I want to get this word lost. I want to get the etymology of this word lost. Because as we were speaking about how our people have been, void of truth and understanding, all right, all these years, well, it's our job as prophets, man, to restore, all right, the lost sheep by bringing forth the truth. So this word lost, let's see, let me look it up here. Yep. This is the adjective usage on the online etymology dictionary. It says lost, wasted, ruined, spent in vain. It says to no longer be found. And this is who YAHAWASHI came for. Matthew 15:24. I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It says gone astray. Here's the point right here. It says meaning spiritually ruined, inaccessible to good influence. See? And that's been the case for us, man. Hey, before we came into this truth, all right, and the Lord actually gave us his truth, put the Holy Spirit inside of us to lead us into all truth, man, we were spiritually ruined. We were inaccessible to good influence. See? The so-called white man, which is the devil that the Bible speaks of, all right, made it damn near impossible for us to have access to good influence. Everything that influenced us, all right, whether from the things you listen to, all right, the music, all right, the so-called churches, all right, the food, everything. It avoided us. It devoided us of good influence, man, to where we'll be, sound in mind. But that's why our people are so bugged out, man. You see, in these jakes in these other camps, they're just as bugged out as these jakes in the world, man. They just know that the Israelites, that's the only difference. You know? So let me go ahead and get back to the point of the lesson, going to some of these articles. So this is off of newsweek.com, and it says Americans face empty shells within weeks. All right, and I did a lesson on it earlier this week. All right, but we doubling down, man. Okay, because Jake has a tendency to forget. You know, things were being the headlines for a day or two, and then everybody's attention is on it. You know, but whenever Esau stops plastering over the media, you know, people forget. You know, but see, it's our job as watchmen, man, to continue to bring these things out. Okay, warn the sheep. You see, get the blood off of our hands. It says a sharp decline in imports driven by the administration's trade policies could lead to empty store shelves in May. And we're in May right now. And it's going to be very interesting to see how these next upcoming weeks, well, really weeks and months following, it's going to be really interesting to see how these things shape up, man. All right, because what's happening right now is a silent siege. Did a lesson on that a few months ago with the brother Amatia. It was entitled "A Silent Siege is Being Set." All right, the war is upon the American people, especially and really and particularly the working class. That's why yesterday and going into this weekend as well, you have a lot of middle class, you know, working class, you know, people protesting, going to these streets and protesting. I believe there's some protests right out here in Dallas just yesterday. One of the brothers had put in the chat, you know, on his way from work, you know, seen some protests out here in Dallas, you know, protesting against, you know, this current regime that's in office, man. You know, but that's Job, the 20th chapter. Every hand of the wicked shall be upon him. You go into that Hebrew word wicked there in Job, the 20th chapter, and I believe the 22nd verse, it's Imal, which means, you know, the common laborer, you know, the everyday laborer, your blue collar workers, you know, your middle class. See, so there's an attack on the middle class. Over 25% of Americans, you know, and a percentage is growing day by day, but as it stands, over 25% of Americans, they're financing groceries right now. You know, financing groceries, but yet this the home of the free, right? Home of the free. How about that? The American dream, where the American dream flourishes. See, but you people's dream has turned into a nightmare. You see, and you've been asleep. You've been asleep the whole time. That's why you've been thinking it's been a dream. But it says port authorities have warned of a precipitous decline. I like that word, precipitous. It says port authorities have warned of a precipitous decline in shipping volumes. Let's look up this word precipitous. That's the word of the day. Precipitous. Dangerously high or steep. It says of an action done suddenly and without careful consideration. Ooh, yeah, something done suddenly and without careful consideration. So there's a precipitous decline in shipping volumes into the U.S. So it just happened suddenly, man. Babylon the Great is falling suddenly. See? And that's how the Lord is working now, man. Things are happening instantly. You know, the Lord is really carrying these effects of the vision, making these effects of the visions to happen suddenly. Let me grab this real quick. And I believe through the Spirit, hey, us brothers in general believe through the Spirit, man. It's going to be a blackout very soon. All right, that's going to really shake things up, and that's what these elites, that's what they need. Okay, that's what they're going to bring to pass. It was just a blackout. What was that? I believe in Spain. You know, it's in Spain, and brothers, you know, put in the chat, had they received some emails from their jobs, you know, telling them like, hey, if there's a blackout to happen here soon, this is what we need to do. This is the protocol on how we're gonna, you know, handle this. You know, so they're telegraphing. These CEOs, they're telegraphing, all right, what the next major move is going to be. It's going to be a blackout. And the lights, they're going to get cut back on, but when they get cut back on, it's going to be a whole new setup. All right. So don't expect things to stay the same. All right, things going, you waking up every morning, All right, you listen to the brothers, listen to the apostles, bring out articles, and all right, bring out these prophecies, and we're going to continue to do this for the next, 5, 10, 15 years. And no, man, things are about, we're at the time now to where the Lord is making shit happen quick. It's Sirach 18 and verse 26 in the GNT. It says, things can change in a single day. The Lord can act very quickly. That's right, man. So, honestly, okay, by the time before, I'm just speaking hypothetically. If the Lord wanted to, he could make something big happen today while we at work or wherever you may be, and that right there changes the dynamic of everything as we know it right now, man. You see, that's going to really push Esau's hand, all right, to move quicker and to set up that MOTB to mandate it, because it's already set up, it's already ready to go. Don't let Esau deceive you, man. Bro, he's got factories right now. He's got well, not necessarily factories, but what would you call it? Storehouses right now, slam packed with the grain of rice. You see, with the MOTB, he's got that right now. He's got these devices ready to be administered to the people. He's just waiting, okay, to get the green light ultimately from YAHAWASHI, all right, to make his next major move, to give him an excuse and to justify himself to go ahead and implement this, to push this thing out. That's really the next biggest thing we're waiting on. And we already know right after that, it's going to be all hell breaking loose amongst these nations, man. World War III. You see? So let me read this again. Sirach 18 and 26 in the GNT. It says, things can change in a single day. Hey, think of the 2020 scare. That shit happened in a single day. You was at your job one day, and then around lunchtime, or around a certain part of the day, your boss said, yeah, we're gonna start working from home. They about to lock it down. Don't come back to the office till you hear further notice. Right, that shit happened in a single day. Nobody was expecting that. That's just one example. So imagine what's going to happen now and here in these times, man. So let me read this one more time. Let me finish it out. Things can change in a single day. The Lord can act very quickly. That's right, man. And the Lord is acting very quickly for the elect's sake, as he says in Matthew the 24th chapter. Those days shall be shortened for the elect's sake. So let's read some more in this article. It says, port authorities have warned of a precipitous decline in shipping volumes into the U.S., noting that several major retailers were stopping all shipments. See, several major retailers. And on top of that, there's already a retail apocalypse. A lot of these big retail stores, like I know Party Central, Ross, TJ Maxx, hell, even a lot of these pharmacies, Walgreens, CVS, they're set to close down, damn near all of their stores by the end of the year. So on top of that, you got these major retailing stores, just abruptly halting, their imports from China. And I remember a while ago, Elder Ariala had did an algorithm concerning how fragile what do you call it? The process of imports and exports really are. One little disruption can just break off the whole chain, the chain of flow, or the flow of things, the flow of imports and exports. So this major halt, bro, that's gonna disrupt everything. Everybody's gonna feel it. Everybody's gonna feel the squeeze, including us. But that's why we open up with Habakkuk 2 and 3. The just shall live by his faith. That's all we got. And through us keeping that faith, Abaratazah, all right, the Lord's going to come through. He's going to lift up that standard. He's going to make sure his servants are well taken care of. That's why it's so important, man, to take this truth serious, and serve YAHAWASHI. Provision is already set for the elect. All right. So it says, Several major retailers were stopping all shipments from China based on the tariffs. One economist speaking to Newsweek likened it to the first effect of the C-19 boogie monster. See? It says President Donald Trump's tariffs, in particular, the staggering rates placed on Chinese imports, threatened to raise the cost of importing goods into the U.S. as a result of the expected drop in the trans-Pacific shipments. Concern has grown that retailers would be unable to ensure sufficient product availability to meet their customer demand. You see? And these people are already financing, in particular, they're already financing groceries and, things as such. So you already know whenever, the demand is high, but the product is scarce, that's going to drive up the price. That's going to drive up the price of the good. So people, they're already on their last penny, literally, man. They're already on the last. So crime is about to, shoot through the roof. People going to be trying to come up in your shit, man. We in those times. 2 Ezra 15, 2 Ezra 16. We in those times, man. So that requires us, we got to be up on our P's and Q's more. We got to apply practical wisdom. Hell, if you ain't got no cameras, hey, I'm just kind of giving a short little testimony, man. Hey, some weird shit been happening, not too far from where I stay, so hell, just this past week I had to put up some cameras around my crib, man. It's just, hey, apply practical wisdom. These are things that, hey, that'll benefit you, man. That'll help you. It's called being circumspect. So it's just word of advice. If you can, put if you don't have already, put up some cameras around your bayath, man, around your crib. That's practical wisdom, because you gotta watch out for these people, man. These people are fucking losing it. Especially if you got a family, you got your seeds, you got your children. You really, gotta, protect your crib, man. You need to know who's around your house because these people, they clock our movements, man. Especially those brothers that go out to the camp. They know, okay, well, yeah, he's usually gone, from his crib around this time every week. They be watching. They be watching, man. So you need to monitor your shit, man. And we know it's gonna get to a point to where they're just gonna, come up in there and take our shit anyway. 2 Ezra 16 chapter speaks about how they're gonna spoil our goods. They're gonna come up inside of our homes. But hey, in the meanwhile, apply what you can. Do what you can. It's just called being circumspect. Make sure you lock your doors in your car. Don't be leaving your car on and running inside the store real quick. Somebody gonna snatch that shit up, man. You'll be surprised, because Jay be doing that shit, man. But let's go back to this article. It says, according to our own port optimizer, which measures the loadings in Asia, we'll be down just a little bit over 35% next week compared to last year. And 35%, bro, that's a lot. 35%, decline in imports, that is a lot, man. Isaiah the 32nd chapter is about to be fulfilled. Rise up, ye careless women that are at ease. For many years and days shall you be troubled. The vintage shall fail. So these proud ass women, man, that take pride in, being single and, leaving their men and, okay. Many great miseries about to come upon these people, all right, because of their pride, man. Men, women, and children. Everybody's about to feel it. Let's get there real quick. We're about to end it out. 2 Ezra chapter 8 and 50. We'll end it out with this scripture. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. See? Great miseries for great pride. It just didn't say miseries. It didn't say many miseries shall come. It says many great miseries, man. Why is it going to be great? Because you have great pride. So the Lord is going to measure out your judgment, your punishment, okay, in balance, in measure. You see? Let's get this word misery. Everyone's about to be well acquainted with misery. This word misery says a state or feeling of great distress or discomfort. See, because right now everybody just knows comfort. AC, heat, central heat, central AC, comfort foods, a bed to lay on, hot and cold water, a shower, you see, lights. But all this is about to be abruptly taken away, and you're going to forget all these years of pleasure that you had. What was that, Sirach 11th chapter? Let's get that real quick. Sirach chapter 11 and verse 25. And it reads, in the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction. Right, so these people, they're not thinking about affliction right now because they have their consolation right now. All right, but soon it's about to be taken away. Very soon it says, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. So this little prosperity, all right, that you people have been having, all right, you're going to forget it. There's no longer going to be a remembrance. All you're going to know is adversity and affliction. See? Let's see here. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra 8 and 50. It says, we'll finish it out right here. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time that shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. See? Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, man. All right, this is why we pray and hope that YAHAWASHI has mercy upon us and forgives us of all of our sins, so we don't get caught up in this judgment. All right, because these plagues are for these people. These plagues are not for the elect. Now, the elect, they're going to be, living during the times, and they're going to be on the earth during the time of this, great calamity. And the Lord's going to use this squeeze, if you will, to purge and purify his elect. But ultimately, these plagues and pestilences and hard times is not okay to break the elect down. All right, it's for these people. All right, to destroy these people. This Sirach 40 and verse 9. It says, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. See, so these times are for these people, man. Okay, the elect is about to win. That's the mindset we pushing over here at Great Millstone. All right, if you're part of the elect, hey, you about to win. Okay, if you're not, you're about to lose. All these people about to lose, man. I can't wait. All right, but Lord willing, all right, we win. Okay, we're on the winning side right now. We know you should be. Okay, you should have confidence. You should know that you're on the winning side. If you're truly sincere about this truth, you call upon the names of YAHAWASHI in sincerity, the Lord dealing with you. All right, you doing the work of the Lord. All right, you're being a brother. You're putting on there for the elect. You're making your calling and election sure. Okay, well, you're on the winning side, man. All right. So what we want to do, we want to stay. We want to fight for our position to stay on the winning side, man. All right. Why these people lose? So, yeah, that's pretty much the point. That's pretty much the point, man. Just wanted to touch into that article. It's a lot of things happening, man. There's definitely not a shortage of things to talk about. All right. That's why brothers, man, dropping out lessons all throughout the day. He says, give him no rest. All right, till he make Jerusalem a praise in the earth. That's what we're doing, man. We're not giving the Lord rest. All right. Proverbially or metaphorically, that is. Meaning we're constantly crying out unto him. Just like that widow in Luke the 18th chapter, constantly crying out unto that unjust judge, saying, how long will it be until you avenge us? So that's how the elect is, man. Constantly crying out unto YAHAWASHI, constantly praying, constantly putting up curses upon this place, man. All right. But yeah, we're gonna leave it right there. Lord's will. This was edifying to the elect. And shalom to you, Akim and Akwaf, that tuned in. Lord's will. This was edifying, and the water for the scriptures out. The water, brother Tazadak, shalom. So yeah. So with that, man, hey, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to my power, Yahawah, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Hakwadash. I want to give double honor to my beloved apostle, Elder Great Millstone, Muwaf Lababal, Shalom.